I remember being with Krishnamurti when he was giving a lecture in Ojai under the trees at the Ojai Foundation 20 or 25 years ago, and he was just seated on this one little tiny chair on a stage, this little hard-backed wooden chair, and there were, 1,000 people under these live oak trees. It was a very beautiful setting. He had a little white canopy over his head. And this particular day, he gave a long lecture on the nature of death and letting go of the past and being absolutely free in the moment and so forth. And he'd finished lecturing the morning and afternoon. And he said, I was thinking of going on a bit this afternoon and this evening on how to live a life of freedom after going on this whole thing about death and so forth. Should I go on? Everyone said, yes, yes. He said, have you been listening? And they said, oh, yes, yes. He said, are you not tired? No, we're not tired. He put his head down and then for a minute, and then he looked up and he said, you're not tired? Then you haven't been really listening. He said, if you were really listening today, you would be tired. It was really a great moment, sort of chastising it. He said, no, there's something so mysterious that's there to be listened to, and you have to listen for that. Not the words, but what's behind the words. There was a man who went to a Hasidic master because there was a lot of trouble in his marriage. And the master said, to help, I suggest one simple practice. Go home, sit down quietly, and listen to your spouse. And listen to every word she says really carefully. So he did for a couple days and came back, said, didn't work. We're still a lot of conflict. And the master said, one further instruction. I want you to go home with your spouse and sit down and now listen to every word she isn't saying. Listen to what's not said behind all those other words. This is from Thomas Merton. I like this passage especially to read it now in the California winter rainy season, because more rain is coming this week, I think. The rain I'm in is not like the rain of the cities. It fills the woods with an immense and confused sound. And I listen because it reminds me that the whole world runs by rhythms that I have not yet learned to recognize. I came out to this cabin in the rain, and now think of it, all that speech pouring down, selling nothing, judging nobody, drenching the thick mulch of dead leaves, soaking the trees, filling the gullies and crannies of the woods with water, washing the hillsides. What a thing it is to sit absolutely alone in the forest at night, cherished by this wonderful, unintelligent, perfectly innocent speech. The most comforting speech in the world, the talk that rain makes over the ridges and watercourses and hollows. Nobody started it, and nobody's going to stop it. It will talk as long as it wants, this rain, and as long as it speaks, I am going to listen. That's quality that we know when we're present and mindful of really listening for as long as it needs to happen. In that way, there are two modes of communication. We've talked about them here before. One is the mode of protection, where you're not really listening, you're just worried about what's going to be said or what your position is or how to get your point across or how to get, that person to do what you want. And there's blame or fear or attachment or something. You've got a program. Do you know what it's like to be in conversation with somebody who has that? The other, instead of being defended or protection or trying to make something, is the mode of learning, of listening not in order to get your answer in or to figure it out or one-up somebody, but to really understand what do they have to say. And it's so interesting because that intention underlies true communication so that you can have the simplest phrase, what did you mean? And depending on the slight variation of the tone that you say it, what did you mean? It can be an insult, What did you mean? And that person will close down immediately because you're judging them. Or you can say, what did you mean? And really want to know what they meant. And those very same words become a doorway of opening and communication. The key to listening and to speaking wisely is the intention. Is our intention to learn, to discover, to hear something that we haven't understood? And when we have the words come out of our mouth, what is the intention behind this speech? And we do all this talking. When you meet somebody and you go into a whole rigmarole, what is your intention? We wave our arms, we tell about our vacation, we talk about where we're going or what we're going to do or what we need or what's happened or whatever. What is our intention mostly when we meet people? Sometimes it's really very simple. We just want to say, hi, I'm in here. Are you in there? Hello. Just want to make a little contact. It's good to see you again. And we go talking about, the weather or the sports or the politics or whatever it happens to be, when we're really just wanting to make contact. Sometimes we just want to say, I love you to somebody. But, that's a little too much to say. So we go in some other rigmarole. It's helpful to sense inside, what is it that I'm bringing to this conversation? What do I really want to say? It's also interesting to notice when we talk a lot about other people. That's that part of wise speech where the Buddha cautions against tale-bearing that brings dissension. And I like to tell this story of Joseph Goldstein, who's been my teaching partner for many years and friend. When he was first starting to work with the practices of awakened speech, he decided that he would not talk about any person that he knew, any third person that he knew, when they weren't present, just as an experiment for a month. He said it was amazing. 90% of my speech was eliminated, made for such a simple life. And so it becomes interesting just to look at how much time we spend with our words on what particular topics.